Okay, good morning. Thank you for being here at our Ohigan service. Ohigan is celebrated twice a year. It's to celebrate the equinox when the days and nights are of equal length. So this one is the vernal equinox. We'll begin the service today with fruit and floral offering by Elise and Tyler Kajita from the pre-K to third grade class. We will now have chanting Sambujo, and it can be found in the service book on page 21.
Ujo midanyorai niudo san ge
Our officiant, Smitty Sensei, will now state the purpose of this gathering, the Hyobyakumon.
Gasho. Today we gather to observe the vernal equinox through a service known as Ohigan. Higan is an abbreviation of Tohigan, which literally means to reach the other shore. For in Buddhism, the world of suffering is referred to as this shore, and the world of enlightenment is called the other shore. The term Higan comes from the Sanskrit word paramita, meaning gone to the other shore, and it suggests the 6 paramitas of giving, discipline, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom. Various sutras teach that the 6 paramitas, or perfections of practice, are the way of reaching the other shore from this shore. In Shin Buddhism, however, we rely on the incomparable vow of Amida Buddha in order to reach the other shore. In Jodo Shinshu, the observance of Ohigan is an opportunity to express our gratitude to Amida Buddha for awakening us to boundless compassion and wisdom. Our aspiration is that we receive this great compassion in our lives, and may we in turn act compassionately toward all beings with whom we share this shore of samsara. This appreciation in our daily life is the Jodo Shinshu way of expressing our gratitude and thanksgiving for the wondrous virtues extended to each of us unconditionally and without discrimination. Namo Amida Butts, Namo Amida Butts, Namo Amida Butts, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.
We will now have chanting Juseige. You can find it in the service book on page 35.
Gagon Chosegan Hishimu Jodo Shigan Humanzok Sehujo Shogak Gao Muryoko Hui Dai Seshu Husai Shobingu Sehujo Shogak Gashi Jobundo Myosho Chojipo Kukyo Mishomon Sehujo Shogak Ryokujin Shonen Joe Shubongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Teninshi Jinriki Endaiko Husho Musaido Shoujo San Kumyo Kosai Shuyakunan Kaihichi Egen Meshi Konmo An Heisoku Shoakudo Tsudan Zen Shumon Koso Jomanzo Ioro Jipo Nichigan Shujuki Tenko Onpugen ishu kai hozo, kose kudoku ho, jo dai shuchu, seppo shishiku, kuyo isai but, gusoku shutoku hon, gan e shinjo man, toku isan gai o, yobun mugechi, tsudan mi hu sho, gan gaku erik, toshi sai sho son, shiganya koka, daisen o kando, koku jo tenin, to chin myoke. Shikudoku Yodo Seisai Dohoden Bodai Shin Ojo Gasho Namandab, 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 Namandab.
Thank you. Please stand now for the recitation of the 6 paramitas. It's in the service book on page 92. Dana, giving, I shall be generous and helpful to others. Sila, discipline, I shall be pure and virtuous by following the precepts of the Buddha. Ksanti, patience, I shall be patient, tolerant, and understanding. Virya, endeavor, I shall be energetic and persevering and do my best in all things. Dhyana, meditation, I shall reflect on the teachings of the Buddha to attain oneness with all beings. Prajna, wisdom, I shall seek the light of wisdom for the benefit of all beings. Thank you. You may be seated. We'll now have incense offering by representatives of the following organizations: Dharma School staff, Nancy, Dharma School students, Jaden. Sangha teens, Juliana. Junior YBA, Andrea. ABBA, Adult Buddhist Association, Greg. BWA, Buddhist Women's Association, Fusako. Taiko, Margot. Komon, past presidents, Glenn. Buddhist Temple of San Diego, Luan Lee. Thank you. Now we will have a Dharma School message by our certified minister's assistant, Yukari Williams.
No, I'm not Yukari. I am. And it's been such a busy week that I forgot to ask Yukari and Arturo to give me a short bio so I could share some information about them. So I'm going to have to make something up on the fly here. I hope not to embarrass them too much. But Yukari Williams has been here at the temple for quite a while, and she's one of those people you just don't realize is just always here. And at one point she was asked to help out with things, just help out setting things up for service and taking care of a lot of things at the temple. And she was always, would do so happily and gladly, always with that smile. And I remember talking to her in those days and asking her about becoming a minister's assistant. And she was kind of like, no, I'm happy just doing the things I do to help out at the temple. And a little more time goes by, and I asked her again about becoming a minister's assistant. She's like, no, I will do these things that minister's assistants do, but I really don't want to give Dharma talks. Well, guess what? Without a resident minister for well over a year now, we've needed help. And Yukari Williams really stepped up and started giving Dharma talks. And she started giving talks by giving the Japanese language talks. So she would feel kind of comfortable with that. And now she does talks for services, which is just amazing to me. So I don't know if she remembers saying those words before. I don't want to give Dharma talks. But I'm very happy that she has changed her mind and is now giving Dharma talks for all of us to hear.
Please join me in Gassho and right high. Dana, giving, I shall be generous and helpful to others. Namamida Butsu, Namamida Butsu, Namamida Butsu, Namanda. Hi everyone. Happy spring, Ohigan. How are you? I hope you and your families are doing well. Today, I'm going to talk about the practice of dana, which is the first practice of the 6 paramitas. According to our service book, dana means being generous and helpful to others. I think you already know what the paramita is. It is Bodhisattva's practice. Bodhisattvas practice paramitas to become a Buddha. We practice dana all the time in our temple. Some members donate money to the temple, while others donate time and effort. For example, BWA members cook delicious sushi for special occasions. Dana group runs a food drive and many other charitable activities. Taiko and dance team perform at various events to spread Dharma. Some members volunteer to manage money, and others repair the buildings. Even Smitty sensei and Loban sensei are volunteers too. We all practice dana. We practice being generous and helpful to others. The Buddhist temple of San Diego is full of kind and generous people. Now, I want to tell you something I heard which shocked me quite a bit. Please show the slide. These pictures are taken somewhere in Thailand. The people in the yellow robes are Buddhist monks. Every morning, monks go to the village to receive food because they don't cook themselves. It's part of their practice. The picture on the right shows the monk receiving food from lay people. But what shocked me was that the monks never say thank you when receiving food. I was so surprised to hear that. My first reaction was, what a rude monks. They don't know how to say thank you? What do you think? Are the monks being ungrateful to people who offer them food? Then my teacher told me the practice of dana is for the giver. Yes, the practice is for the person who gives. My teacher also told me that dana is practice for you to become selfless. Do you know what selflessness means? Selfless means you think of people before yourself. Selflessness makes you think less about yourself and more about others. If you are selfless, you are truly generous and kind. So I learned from my teacher that monks don't thank the people who give them food because the monks provide the people a chance to practice selflessness, which is the true practice of dana. The practice of dana is for us to practice being selfless. I want to share my story of when I was not selfless. I was the opposite of selfless. I was selfish. One day, I saw a homeless young man in front of Rite Aid on Adams Avenue. He was a teenager, and his cardboard sign said, "I'm hungry." I felt sorry for him. I had some change in my wallet, so I gave him $5. What happened next is that he snatched the $5 bill from my hand and walked away. I was disappointed because he never said thank you to me. He didn't even look at me. I expected him to say thank you or maybe God bless you. Because I usually hear those words when I give something to homeless people. I usually feel pretty good when someone says thank you to me. So I wanted to hear thank you from the young man. I wanted to feel good about myself. That's why I gave the homeless person the money. I wanted to think that I was a kind person. But I didn't think of this young man at all. I only thought of myself. I wasn't selfless. I wasn't practicing true dana. From now on, when I practice dana, I will try to remember dana means being selfless. So, do you want to join me in practicing true dana? Do you want to join me in practicing being selfless? I think you all help your family around your house. You may help wash the car. You may unload the dishwasher. You may fold clean laundry. You may take care of your pets. You may spend all day practicing dana. But if no one says thank you, how will you feel? Will you feel disappointed if no one appreciates your hard work? it's not easy to be selfless. That's why we practice. Let's remember the true practice of dana. I will try to remember. Let's practice true dana to become a selfless person. Thank you for listening today. Please join me in Gassho and Raihai. Dana, giving. I shall be generous and helpful to others. Namamida Butsu, Namamida Butsu, Namamida. Thank you.
Great message to remember. I feel like I'm in the same boat. Probably most of us too. Anyway, okay, going on. We will be doing the Gatha, so please rise. For Gatha, a special place. It is in the service book on page 100, and then remain standing for our pledge on the insert. A special place. There is a spirit among and I in a sea, a place I visit every week, a spot just for me. When I sit up on that square, and my cares outside, all anger is forgotten. The Dharma is my guide. There is a special something here, something you can see. For kindness lives within this place, it lives inside of me. Amida stands inside the shrine, a smile upon his face. I smile right back, glad to be here in this special place. Now there's time to sit and think of all that I can see, to care for those around me, each day the whole week through. There is a home to gentle thoughts. Goodness lives within us, lives inside of me. It lives inside of me. Thank you. Our pledge is on the insert. Our pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha, who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Okay, today is a special day because we will be having the installation of BWA officers. That is the Buddhist Women's Association. I had the pleasure of the past 3 years co-presidencing with Mani Ryan. We made a great team, I thought. And anyway, that term is over, and we're starting a brand new three-year term. So to start off with, I am again co-presidencing, but this time I'm so happy to introduce Junko Kajita, who will be our co-president. Junko? Okay, and I'm just going to read all the names, and everyone come forward. Okay, the first vice president is Aki Tomiyama. Second vice president in charge of activities is Margot Spears. Recording secretary, Fusako Yokotobi. Corresponding secretary, Anne Yamamoto. And Treasurer Susan Yonikura, who could not be with us today, but she has been serving, I don't know how many years, many, many years. I'm so grateful. Religious chair is Reverend Laverne Imori, and she is also out of town. So, Lorraine Ota is our well care chair. And our advisors, Fumi Ohara, Mrs. Alice Aoyama, and Laverne Imori Sensei. Our group leaders, Alice Aoyama, Anne Yamamoto, Margot Spears, and Kim Hagio. Several of our board members are actually our repeat officers, but I'm very glad that they have agreed to continue serving, and we really welcome our brand new people to our board. So, Smitty Sensei?
Actually, we can stand more toward the middle. Thank you. And if you'll face Amida Buddha first for the installation pledge. You, the newly elected officers of the Buddhist Women's Association of the Buddhist Temple of San Diego, in accepting this office, take upon yourselves certain responsibilities toward your Sangha and the temple. Are you willing to forego some of your personal desires for the common good? Are you determined to do your part during your term in office in spreading the ideals of Shin Buddhism by living its core values, which is a life of gratitude for the benevolence of the Buddha and the respect for the interdependence of all life? Will you provide your best effort and treat all others with respect and fairness? Your participation in serving in this group with the values of Shin Buddhism will enhance your life and those of your fellow members. If you take these responsibilities, please repeat the following affirmation after me. I take office in the Buddhist Women's Association of the Buddhist Temple of San Diego. I accept my responsibilities and affirm my aspiration to keep the teachings of the Buddha as my guide. Namo Amida Butts, Namo Amida Butts, Namo Amida Butts, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. And now please turn around and face the Sangha so they can acknowledge you.
Okay, thank you. And by the way, this is the Buddhist Women's Association, so every Buddhist woman is totally welcome to join our group. It's a fun group. We meet once a month, and we do a lot of good, selfless things. So please join us. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Okay, well, we'll have words of appreciation by our temple president, Luan Lee.
Good morning. So nice to see you all here on a sort of sunny day, not really overcast, but hopefully it'll get sunnier and at least no rain until Tuesday, I hear. Congratulations to the BWA officers for their installation. We appreciate all the dedication and support that you give to the temple all year long. On behalf of the Buddhist Temple of San Diego, I want to thank our guest speakers, CMA Yukari Williams for her Dharma school talk, and I'm trying to be selfish, do selfishness things, and to CMA Arturo Rubio, who will be giving the Ohigan Dharma Message in a few minutes. We thank them both for taking time out of their busy schedules to prepare and present Dharma messages for us today. Thank you to Reverend Hokai Smitty Smith for officiating today's service, and to Susan Moribe for chairing this morning. Appreciation to really all the MAs that have assisted with setup, takedown for the service. Special thanks to Robert Yamamoto for providing the music, and the technical team for taking care of the live streaming. As always, we want to give our deepest gratitude to you, the Sangha, for your generous donations and all your support. We always hope to see you at every Sunday service, but please save the date for our annual Hanamatsuri service coming up in April 9. We will be celebrating Buddha's birthday, and I hear BWA will be having a bake sale. And a tostada bar will be offered with bingo, possibly, for a cost, a small fee. But more details are coming soon on that. And also just want to close with, for those that could be sports, maybe not sports people, but you can jump on the bandwagon, because for San Diego State men's basketball, they're in the Sweet 16 this year for the NCAA tournament, and they're going to play next Friday, so let's root them on. And also the Padres. The Padres are the team to beat this year, I think, and opening day is less than 2 weeks away, so let's go San Diego. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Luan. If you have an announcement, please come forward.
Thank you. There are a lot of announcements at the back of your program today, but I did want to announce that the Dharma School will be hosting their annual camping trip, and for those who have never joined in, it's a lot of fun. It's going to be, this year they're going to be camping at Joshua Tree Park for Memorial Day weekend, May 26th through the 29th. If you'd like more information, please contact Lisa or Leslie. They'll be emailing the information, more detailed information to the regulars, but if you're interested in camping, it's a great way to experience the Dharma School families together. So, and you can also see me. Thank you.
Good morning. I wanted to point out a few opportunities to practice dana, selfless giving, which are on the back of the program. So the first I wanted to point out is the Neighbors Helping Neighbors food drive. And the temple is teaming with the San Diego Food Bank to collect canned food, cereal, rice, dry beans, nuts, powdered milk, and infant formula for families in need. And there's actually going to be a drive-through event here at the temple parking lot next Saturday, March 25th from 9 to 11 a.m. So please come and support if you can next Saturday morning. And we will have volunteers here to collect your items. So thank you in advance for that. And as Luann had already mentioned, on April 9th, following the Hana Matsuri service, there will be a tostada bingo fiesta. Should be great food and a lot of fun. And as on the program, for adults, it's $12 for 2 tostadas and 5 games of bingo. And for children 12 and under, it's $5, which is 1 tostada and bingo. So please order in advance by March 31st. And if you have a prize that you might be able to donate for the bingo, that would also be greatly appreciated. And the fundraiser is to support the Minister's Assistants, who will be going to Japan in May for the 850th and 800th commemoration. So thank you very much in advance for your support.
Okay, are there any people who have come here for the first time or haven't been here for a long time? Could you please stand? Could you please stand? And if you don't mind, would you introduce yourself? That's great, thanks. Thank you for coming. Welcome. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you very much. I hope you come back. Okay. It's now time for Dharma School to offer incense, and they can be excused to the Dharma School activity to have some fun. So, and the rest of us will stay here for the adult message. Okay, thank you. We will continue with our service now. Smitty Sensei will lead us in chanting the Vandana and Tisarana. That can be found in the service book on page 96. And please join the chanting from the beginning.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Kie Ho. Namo Kie So. Gasho, Namo Amida-butsu, Namo Amida-butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.
We will now have the Adult Ohigan Dharma Message by our certified minister's assistant, Arturo Rubio, introduced by Smitty Sensei.
Once again, silly me, I forgot to ask for bios, so I'm going to make things up. Arturo, it's in a way a little bit ironic to me that Yukari spoke about Dana, since Arturo is the head of our Dana club at the temple, but that's okay. We all can learn a little bit more about selflessness and true giving. But Arturo, I think I really started to meet when he was coming to Buddhism 123. And he's a bit like me. Neither of us started out as Buddhists in this life. So we had to find our way to Buddhism. And once Arturo started coming to temple, I'll tell you what, he jumped in feet first. He just really got into everything and has been helping out and has really been a part of the temple since he got here. And really is amazing to me how much he has grown in such a short time, and really holds the Dharma in his heart. So that's one of those things where when I meet another convert, it just sometimes amazes me that they are very anxious to study Buddhism, and Arturo is no different. And now he is here today with all the helping he's done and all the hard work he's done is also a certified minister's assistant. And I really enjoy the fact that he does things like translates the Bishop Harada's Dharma messages into Spanish and records those so that people who would like to hear the Dharma in Spanish are able to access it now. And so it's just wonderful that we have someone like Arturo here who is so willing to share the teachings with everyone. And I'm very grateful that he is part of the Minister's Assistant Group at our temple.
Thank you, Smitty Sensei, for the introduction. Please join me in Gassho. When the one-thought moment of joy arises, nirvana is attained without severing blind passions. When ignorant and wise, even grave offenders and slanderers of the Dharma, all alike turn and enter Shinjin. They are like waters that, on entering the ocean, become one in taste with it. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandas, Namandas. Good morning, everyone. So, as it's already been said, today we celebrate Ohigan. Marked by the spring equinox in this case, which is tomorrow, March 20th, this celebration symbolizes the transition from winter to spring, but also the transition between life and death. Ohigan is a time to reflect and remember our loved ones who have crossed over to the other shore. It is a time when nature and the universe are in harmony, when the length of the day and night are equal. Crossing to the other shore also refers to the attainment of nirvana, or reaching the Pure Land. In Joro Shinshu, one of the concepts that may be confusing to some people is the idea of the Pure Land. What exactly is the Pure Land? How do we get there? Depending on who you ask, you may receive different answers. Some that may seem paradoxical. For example, tradition over many centuries included a multitude of practices, some to be done by the dying person, some by those around him, to increase the odds of reaching the Pure Land at the moment of death. But the great masters Vasubandhu and Tanluan stated that the Pure Land is a symbolic representation of the true and real world, meaning the true and real world right now, not at the moment of death. The idea that we suffer through life with the goal of making it to a paradise after we die is something that is found in many religions. But based on the teachings of Masters Vasubandhu and Tanluan, we come to understand that the Pure Land is not an extension of this world from a time and space standpoint. It is not a physical place that we go to at a special point in time. The Pure Land is something we can experience right now during our present life. It is a state of mind, a realization that allows us to gradually become aware of and hopefully diminish our deluded desires. So in the fragment that I read at first from the Shoshinge, Shinran wrote, and I'm actually going to focus only on the first two lines. When the one thought moment of joy arises, nirvana is attained without severing blind passions. In this fragment, Shinran suggests that nirvana, the Pure Land, is to be experienced at any moment, here and now, even if we continue being imperfect beings. For many of us, existence is marked by selfishness, attachment to ephemeral pleasures, and general delusion. What's worse, we make no effort to wake up from this existence. But when we realize that such a life is not true reality, that there is more than this existence filled with greed, anger, and delusion, we begin to experience the Pure Land in the present moment and not at the end of our lives. In many cases, experiencing the Pure Land, even if it's just for a moment, can be something as simple as witnessing a beautiful sunset or looking up at the starry sky. It is moments like these that make us understand and feel in our hearts that there is something beyond us mere individuals, that we are not alone, that we are interconnected, that we are forever embraced and subjected to great compassion. Kenji Sensei used to say that every so often we get glimpses of the Pure Land. Many years ago, my wife and I went on a cruise from San Diego to Cabo. We had a great time, but watching the sun set every day was especially humbling. We were in the middle of the Pacific, no land as far as the eye could see, the setting sun turning ocean and sky into a gradual transformation of fiery, reddish hues. We were in the middle of nowhere on this ship that was just a speck in the vastness of the ocean. But I felt so connected to that beautiful image, that beautiful moment. What an experience. My ego, my imperfect self, had no say in the matter. I was just there to witness the moment. It was like the sun was telling me, you don't have to do anything. In fact, you're incapable of doing anything. Just savor the moment, enjoy the privilege. That, to me, was a glimpse into the Pure Land. Now, how frequently do any of you look up at the stars? I mean, really, really look at the stars. With our busy schedules, our daily routines, you probably don't even remember the last time you consciously, with a purpose, looked up at the stars. There have been times in my life when I've been blindsided by adversity, when everything seems to be upside down, when I've run into an obstacle that at the time seems insurmountable. I've looked up at the starlit sky, trying to make sense of all the things that seem to be wrong at that moment in my life. I may not have found an immediate solution to my problems by looking up at the sky, but seeing the countless number of stars up there led me to understand that there is something larger than ourselves. That the universe goes on even if I find a solution to my problems or not. That myself, my possessions, my work, my wants, my petty problems are nothing compared to the immensity of the universe. When you realize that all those things don't really matter in the great scheme of things, you start ridding yourself of fear. You start believing that in the end, everything will work out somehow. That's when you come to understand that you are not alone, that you are in fact embraced by great compassion. That to me is a glimpse into the Pure Land. Some may ask why, if the Pure Land is beyond space and time, is it commonly referred to as the other shore? or why certain sutras place it 100,000 kotis to the west. For those not familiar with the term koti, it's an ancient Indian numerical unit that describes an incomprehensible expanse of time or distance. These descriptions make the Pure Land sound like a geographical location we can get to at a certain point in time. This has to do more with our limitations as simple human beings than anything else. Shakyamuni Buddha expounded his teachings in a way that was appropriate for his audience. So to us, mere mortals, how can we even begin to understand the concept of Pure Land in its entirety? How do we attain perfect bliss, which is how the Pure Land is named in the Amida Sutra? With our limitations, imperfections, and delusions, it's impossible for us to attain perfect bliss by our own means. Hence the idea that we will need to travel 100,000 kotis to the west to reach the Pure Land. It's a metaphor that is easier to comprehend, that ultimately points to what we should already be aware of, that we are incapable of reaching that goal by our own means. We've already stated that the Pure Land is a realm of absolute truth and reality. At the same time, it is a realm towards which all of us are headed. It is not meant to be understood as the action of going from one world to another at some point in our lives. We must understand that the Pure Land is always here. And from our standpoint, it is more of a transcendence or transformation of how we perceive and understand that realm. Knowing this, we can say that birth in the Pure Land, or getting to the other shore, means that our self begins leaving behind that state of mind where attachments, anger, and delusion control us. This is not to say that we are able to detach ourselves completely from these negative experiences characteristic of our present existence. It is more of an understanding that we reach a truly settled state, knowing that birth in the Pure Land has already been assured. Please join me in Gasho. When the one thought moment of joy arises, nirvana is attained without severing blind passions. When ignorant and wise, even grave offenders and slanderers of the Dharma all alike turn and enter Shinjin, they are like waters that, on entering the ocean, become one in taste with it. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandavs, Namandavs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Arturo. That was a great message. Now, please stand for the Gatha Ondok-san 2. It's in the service book on page 128. Thank you. You may be seated. Now, this is the time for music meditation, and usually there's a recitation said by the chairman. However, I always kind of feel like it's it's imposing on my mind while I'm listening to the music and enjoying that and meditating. So instead of doing a recitation, I'm just going to have Robert play the music meditation, and you can use your whatever you heard from the messages from Yukari and Arturo, or whatever you want to think about, but try to clear your mind and enjoy the meditation. Okay, my closing remarks. I didn't know that about the Buddhist monks. My daughter-in-law is Lao and Vietnamese, so I have actually been at their house while the monks came to receive the food. So I never noticed that. They didn't say thank you. But anyway, just as a side note, they have to eat, at the temple that she goes to, her family goes to, the monks have to eat by noon. After noon, they can't eat anything else. They only eat in the morning. So anyway, that's just some information. Okay, and so I wanted to thank, So I want to thank our officiant today, Smitty Sensei, and our speakers, Yukari and Arturo, of course, and Robert for his beautiful music, and Brevin and Tim for doing the electronic stuff. And of course, thank you all for coming. You are welcome to offer incense, and we have a lot of treats down in the hospitality room, so please be sure to stop in there and do some socializing. That's the fun part. Okay, and BWA members, when you come up to Oshoko, please stay in the front pews so that we can take our picture quickly, okay? So that's all I have to say. Thanks for coming, and you're welcome to offer incense and do Oshoko. Thanks. One more thing. I mentioned the BWA being a Buddhist Women's Association. Actually, if you're a man, you can join too. We don't discriminate. If you're willing to come and join us, please do. Thanks.